In this example problem, we're going to find the area of the region enclosed by these curves. To find that, we're probably going to have to graph these. So when I look at, of course, y equals negative x plus 3, that's just a line. So it has a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of negative 1, which in terms of change in x, change in y, and change in x would be down 1 and to the right 1. So, so we've got a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of negative 1. So it goes down 1 and over 1, down 1 and over 1, down 1 and over 1. And so my line would look something like that. When I look at the parabola, then there's a couple ways we can go about finding this, the vertex of this parabola. We know it's x squared, so it's opening up or down. It's a vertical parabola. It's negative. So my a value is negative 1. So that tells me the parabola is opening down. For the vertex, the x-coordinate would be negative b over 2a. So that's negative 8 over 2 times negative 1, which would be negative 8 over negative 2. So the vertex would have an x-coordinate of 4. For my y-coordinate, we just plug into my function, negative x squared plus 8x minus 15. So that would be negative 4 squared plus 8 times 4 minus 15, which would be 1. So my vertex is going to be at 4, 1. So 4, 1 would be here. Now we know it's opening down. What we're going to need, it's going to be opening down and doing some stuff here. We're going to need to know where these two curves intersect. So to find where they intersect, I can set the y-coordinates just equal to each other. So that's going to say negative x plus 3 equals negative x squared plus 8x minus 15. And if I move stuff over then, if I add x squared to both sides, I'll subtract 8x, I'll add 15, I'll keep the minus x and the plus 3, and that's all then equal to 0. So I get x squared minus 9x plus 18 equals 0. And to factor that then, the factor is minus 3 and minus 6. So I get that these curves will intersect when x is equal to 3 or when x is equal to 6. To find the y-coordinate, I could plug into either function. If I go to the line, that's a little easier. Negative x plus 3. That gives me y equals 0. So one point of intersection is 3, 0. The other one, I plug in 6, and I get negative 3. So that's the point 6, negative 3. So I would have the point 3, 0, and the point 6, negative 3, and that's where my parabola would be, going through those points. And so I'm supposed to be finding this region in here. So a typical, let me get rid of that. A typical rectangle then would look like this, the top of the rectangle is the parabola, which is negative x squared plus 8x minus 15. The bottom of the rectangle would be y equals negative x plus 3. And so I would get my integral. Those rectangles start at x equals 3 and they go all the way over here, right? That's x equals 3, and they stop over here at x equals 6. The rectangles are going to sort of march across this region. And everyone, I'm going to have to take the length. To find that length, I'm just going to subtract these y coordinates, top minus bottom. And then the width is just going to be my little delta x or dx. So my area is going to be the integral from 3 to 6. My top is negative x squared plus 8x minus 15. And I'm going to subtract off the bottom, which is negative x plus 3. Be careful to put that in parentheses. So that's the integral from 3 to 6. We get negative x squared. All right, I'm going to distribute and combine like terms at the same time. So minus a negative becomes plus. So I get positive 8x and a plus x, so that's going to be plus 9x. And then I'm going to get minus 3, so negative 15 minus 3 would be negative 18. And now I'm going to integrate. So I'm going to increase the exponent by 1 and divide by that new exponent. So I'm going to plug in 6. Then I'm going to plug in 3 and subtract. So negative 216 over 3. 9 times 36 is 9 times 30 is 270 plus 54. Let's see, did I do that right? 30 times 9 is 270. 6 times 9 is 54. Yes. 60 plus 48 minus 108. And here then we're going to get minus a negative is plus 27 over 3, minus 9 times 9, 81 over 2, minus negative, that's plus 18 times 3 is 54. Okay, so now let's see. 216 divided by 3, that's negative 72. 324 divided by 2, that's 162. Minus 108 plus 9 minus 81 halves plus 54. So let's see, I've got positives here. So 162 plus 9 would be 171. I've got negatives here. Oops. I have another positive, right? Forgot that positive. So 162 plus 9, 171, 221, that's 225 positive. Right, 216 plus 9, yep. Negatives, I've got negative 72 and negative 108, so that's negative 180. And then I still have negative 81 halves. So that's going to be 45 minus 81 halves. So 45 over 1 is 90 over 2, right? 45 multiplied top and bottom by 2 minus 81 over 2 would give me an area of 9 halves.